J&S Biblical Productions has always looked for men and women in the Bible from whom we can obtain strong moral or ethical lessons from God that we will always retain and remember. This is Pamela Bluewater. Here we have with us today the Queen of Northern Israel, married to King Ahab at her palace. Here she is, Queen Jezebel. It's good to have you here.
Hello.
Okay. Queen Jezebel, you have an interesting history. You are or were a Phoenician and the daughter of King Ahab from Sidon. And why did you marry a man who believed in the God of Israel?
That's easy to answer, Miss Bluewater. My daddy was a king whose name means with Baal. Baal was the god of storms and water. I wanted to remain loyal to the gods and goddesses of weather and agriculture, and that's why I decided to marry Prince Ahab. I knew he was destined to become king someday, and there was nothing I liked more than power. I was just following in my daddy's footsteps.
But you still believe in one God, don't you?
No, I really hate the God of Israel. I tried to persuade King Ahab to give up the worship of his God Yahweh, but he was cowardly and weak. I did, however, convince him to build a shrine for Baal in Samaria. I wanted to declare that my religion be the national religion in all of Israel.
But Jezebel, wasn't this a bit dangerous considering there are so many prophets of the Lord?
Yes, but I had plans to persecute them for the drought we were having and dupe King Ahab into thinking it was his God's fault. Then I was going to murder off many prophets of Ahab's Lord.
But still, what did you have on your side?
I had secretly 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah eating at my table. Meanwhile, King Ahab just had his one weak prophet, Elijah, who had to challenge all my prophets. Nothing came out of the challenge, but I did make Elijah flee for his life in Beersheba.
Well, you seem shameless and malicious. Do you have any story to tell us about how you may have helped the king retain his army?
Yes, I do have a story of how I helped my weak King Ahab because he was too cowardly to do anything for himself. There was a vineyard next to his palace in Samaria. It was owned by a Jezreelite named Naboth. King Ahab wanted the vineyard for himself, so he tried to give Naboth another vineyard instead, but Naboth refused, saying it was an inheritance. King Ahab didn't know what to do, so he came home and sulked. I, of course, came to his aid. I sent out a letter to all of the town elders with the king's seal on it, declaring a fast and meeting. I then hired two very bad guys to testify against Naboth that he was using abusive language against God. So naturally, they dragged Naboth outside of town and stoned him to death. So there. That's called being a good queen and wife. I did a good deed for the king.
I have something to say before you do any more evil or destruction against God.
Who are you and what authority do you represent?
I am a messenger from the prophet Elijah, and I'm here to tell you what's going to become of you and your slimy King Ahab. Because you have dedicated yourself to doing evil in the eyes of God, Elijah will cut down King Ahab and any male dynasty he may think of having. And you will be eaten by dogs in the field of Jezreel. And any line of King Ahab will die in town, devoured by dogs and picked apart by birds of prey. And that's all I have to say about that. What do you think about that, you slimy, shameless slut of a queen? In fact, here is some slime for your subjects so you can sleep on it so they can see how slimy that you are.
Well, I guess that concludes your interview, Jezebel. I hope this is a great warning for us. Jezebel, you could have been a righteous person committed to our one true God, but instead, we may all have Jezebels in our lives. The question is, how strong and aware are we? Where is our commitment to false deities and false prophets and idols? Beware of women who choose to harden their hearts, as they will suffer the consequences. This is Pamela Bluewater saying, let's use what God has provided us to form our characters, not by Jezebel's example. Good afternoon.
What are your thoughts on today's story? We'd like to know. So, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel, J&S Authentic Biblical Productions. Whether it's the Word of God through parables, true stories illustrating parables, or true stories in the life of Jesus Christ with commentary, you can see them all by subscribing to the most comprehensive collection of videos of biblical stories for you and your family. Have a blessed day.